Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, assorted members of the jury, today I present to you, in the top side of the map, abusing Frere for the decider of the Genesis Qualifier Day 1. His name is Pegasus. And on the other side of the map, in the red color, abusing Loki, because that's all Age of Mythology is apparently. His name is Matreiuss. If everything is OP, if everything is busted, nothing is. And it's tournament season today. I don't really know what these guys drafted. We're watching this post event. This is the recorded game, so there is a chance that we're going to see these goes out of sync. If they do, I will spoil the results. I roughly know the results of this series. I do not know who won each individual game, but I can go and figure that out. Nonetheless, we're going to be watching and hopefully getting through this in nice fashion. I'm a little bit sick, so apologies about any coughing, spluttering, or whatever, but we will be watching this all as we go along. Relics on the map, we've got the Chariot of Sibel. Grants 2 golden lions that respawn for free 60 seconds after both are killed. This one is an insanely good early game relic. Over here, we do have the System of Bast. That is a decent relic here. It amounts to, if you're on one town center, about 20... Wait, is it 15%? How much food is off is this? That's 5 food off, right? So it amounts... Wait, is it? It's a little over 5 food off. Anyways, if it's 5 food off, that's the one I know because that's from the old game. It's about 20 food a minute off of one town center. Off of 2 town centers, it's 40 food a minute. So it's a little bit worse than the food income relic, but a little bit better if you have more town centers. So that's an easy way to think about it. Not too crazy overpowered, not too crazy weak. Fetter's Offender over here, pretty lackluster, really just makes your villages a little bit stronger. Up on this situation here, we've got the Rhea's Crown, going to be reducing the town centers there as well. Over on this situation here, we do have the, what's this one here? Can we click on it? Click on it. We've got the Scales of Echidna here. This one's going to be making your myth units much cheaper. I love this relic. I actually think that this might be the best relic in the game. I could go into that a little bit more in another video, but not today. Over here, we got the Eye of Horus here, increasing population by 4. That's another really, really good relic. Now let's talk about the matchup a little bit. I suck in Norse mirrors. It's probably the worst mirror. Normally mirrors are my worst matchup because I just don't like to think about it. I'm just like, what do you do in this matchup? I don't know. And then I'm like, how do I abuse my opponent? How do I use my strengths to beat him? I'm like, I don't have any. Well, how do I win? Oh, I have to just outplay my opponent, and I'm just not capable of doing that. Nonetheless, this one is a Norse mirror that's very new. Very different dynamics here. We've got a very aggressive god in Loki and a very defensive god in Frere. So, what does that really mean? Don't really know. Not really sure. But we will be seeing Ulla and we will be seeing Forseti, so there's not really any surprises there. Upgrades here for our players. We've got Pickaxe versus nothing. So, looks like Pegasus managed to squeeze out that Pickaxe to get him a little bit of an advantage. Now, you might look at this and go, Frere has the economic advantage in this matchup. He can get himself cheaper hand axe, cheaper pickaxe, so he can get those out a little bit earlier, get a little bit more economy. However, Matreiuss, as the Loki player, has got his own advantage in this matchup of spawning myth units, which, if you can get a whole bunch of those out, does end up being around about the same amount of economic advantage that you're basically all of the other Norses can get. So Thor has got dwarves, Odin has got faster hunt, Frere's got cheaper upgrades. So basically that's nullifying your opponent's advantage to some degree, but you are restricted obviously in what you can get from that. And obviously restricted as well as how many you can get, and the more Hersa you build, the more you're going to get, and you probably don't want to go too heavy on those Hersa against someone massing a whole bunch of berserks or throw an axeman or counter units or whatever. Nonetheless, Matreiuss is in the center of the map, and wowzers, relic hunting has happened here. He's gotten 4 of the 6 relics. As we see, Pegasus, he is going to get 1 of the 6 relics here to kick this game off. Oh, he leaves this one over here because it's Fetter's Offender and doesn't really care about that one. But a little bit of pressure here. Going to be mounting onto Pegasus. He's grabbing that forward hippopotamus there. The troll going to be wandering forward onto this position and throwing a big boulder and whacking a whole bunch of those bad boys away. This is a really nice attack because Pegasus has not defended this very well. Those chickens are completely open. We're going to be seeing the Draugr getting sniped down as well. Great opening here for Matreiuss. Pegasus is going to have to retreat back. We will be seeing the watchtowers coming up, but Takes a long time for it to come through. Whole 38 seconds there as Freyr. And Pegasus is just going to have to move around the map here to get himself food. And going to be a very, very slow start for him here. He's got really... Honestly, he's got a really, really bad map. And he hasn't played around this at all. Maybe a wall over here would have been a really nice starter for him. At least getting him some of that food on the other side. But now he has to go onto those pigs and Matreiuss. He's got a lot of Herser out. He does need to be getting himself some other units. He's getting himself Great Hall and Longhouse in his main base. Also building the houses in his main base. Absolutely love that. In terms of players to watch, to like actually learn the ins and outs of how to play Norse at a very high level, I think Matreiuss is one of the best. I think he's got the cleanest Norse out of everyone. There's some other players you might want to watch for certain like aggressive tendencies, because Matreiuss doesn't really play that style very well. Obviously, he's playing aggressive here, but he's much better at the like control Norse rather than the aggressive Norse, so to speak. As the raiding cavalry diving in, almost, no, they do manage to snipe that throwing axeman. Nice kill there. Retreating back. Those gold lions are really, really doing work here at the moment, as we see a town center getting grabbed by Matreiuss. This is a pretty greedy town center. It's going to relieve a lot of pressure here, but Pegasus is not going to know that this is going up. Maybe he can take a guess that it is. We see the armory coming through, but maybe he can take a guess. But if we take a look at the perspective of Pegasus, he's got no idea. And he's not going to find out. He's not going to want to leave his base anytime soon here. So this is a really, really sneaky grab here. We see some walls coming up. I'd love to see little raids coming in, just poking and prodding as this game continues. We see the armory is now completed. He can get those upgrades for very, very cheap. And he definitely should. And now comes the time where I always say this as playing Freyr. Get yourself 2 armories. Just do it. Just do it. Just get yourself 2 armories. It's a really, really good way to play Freyr. If you don't have the wood now, get them later. Like, it's fine. Because then you can get yourself all these upgrades when you hit the next stage. You're going to be able to get those all immediately. And your slower upgrade time is not going to be affecting you. And you're still getting that bonus in a big way. You could probably get both of the armories up in the heroic age or as you're going there as well. That's totally fine. If you need to save the wood, which it's looking like Pegasus is needing to do. But Pegasus wants to go to the next age. He's going to get himself those rock giants to help him out if he goes through for the what's it called? Tempest? I'm forgetting the Aegir. If he goes through Aegir, he's going to be able to get himself that Tempest to get a push happening. He's also got access to Bragi here if he wants to try that, as the troll comes back and whacks those villagers back yet again. You can't approach this troll. He really doesn't have that many units here. Pegasus is just trying his hardest to get to that next age. The Matreiuss, he's controlling this very nicely. He's got more population. He's got more economy by just a little bit. 5 villages, 4 villager lead at the moment. He is housed, which is a pretty big problem for him. He's getting those houses in his main base with those villages. I'm never going to get upset at someone for doing this. It's technically a noob trap to build the houses because you're losing out on about 15 resources, roughly speaking, to do this, rather than build it with your infantry. But if it's built in a safe place, I'm never going to get upset about that because it's worth the extra resources to build it in a safe place rather than on the front. Though you could argue that this town center is a safe place as well, and building them there isn't a terrible idea. Nonetheless, I'm not going to get angry at Matreiuss for doing that. We are seeing Aegir is the god of choice here, as some great halls are coming down. I don't know if we're going to be seeing here Godi or Jarls or raiding cavalry coming out of these. You could also go for some Herser here as well, but Aegir coming through. He's got himself 35 favor in the bank, ready to get himself a couple more of those rock giants. But that does play into the Hersers. He's got a lot of Herser out. Herser do well against myth units, while the rock giants have got a huge amount of HP and bonus armor that comes from their special ability. Those Herser will get myth unit spawns from that as well, and potentially even get his own at some point. As walls coming through, we're going to see the raiding cavalry coming up to the top side of the map, looking for a little something to target down. Walls coming up over here as well. Love that there for Pegasus, as the Herser are going to sneak around onto that side there. And we're going to just see raiding cavalry. I love this. I would really like to see, because Pegasus is like not leaving his base at the moment, move forward with a unit or two and build a longhouse here. And also, instead of just these walls, which I like, but get a longhouse down on this spot as well, as the units over here, they're onto the wood. He's going to have to start trading here as well. There is a little bit of gold in the bank for the time being, but Matreiuss is well in front. He's going up through Bragi, getting those upgrades through as well. And we do see the Matreiuss is spotting that position. He's also got a really easy way to move around the map to get onto that gold mine. I'd love to see a wall getting put down here by Pegasus at some point. If you can get that happening, it'd be really, really good. But yeah, Pegasus is playing this incredibly defensively right now. And basically all he's going for is a really big tech push. And this is kind of the way that Freyr needs to play. He's going to be getting himself out the heavy infantry. Over here we see the heavy cavalry as well. And we do see a nice Guardian Hill Fort coming down after all of that. So he will be able to secure the gold mine. But should Matreiuss care about this is the big question. See some raiding cavalry coming in, sniping a villager. Nice little attack there. Does he keep the raiding cavalry alive? No, he doesn't. So a trade of 1 for 1 there. Not a bad trade there for Matreiuss in terms of like how long it takes you to actually get an advantage out of that. Probably about 90 seconds. And then you're actually winning in a big way. So it's always worth it to kind of trade 1 for 1. Any more than that, you start asking if it's worth it or not. Like 2 for 1 is, you're starting to go, or is that 1 for 2? 1 for 2? 1 for 3? Anyways, whole bunch of upgrades up here now for Pegasus. But the problem is, Matreiuss is going to be having his upgrades as well. So just because Pegasus here, he isn't spending, or he hasn't gathering resources and he's not spending as many resources on those upgrades as Matreiuss is, doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And we are seeing Hell queued up here for Matreiuss. He wants that Mythic Age as fast as he possibly can. The other thing that we haven't really talked about is as Matreiuss has got all of this map control, he hasn't had to build farms. He's on the boards. Pegasus, on the other hand, he's got 12 farms in. Population, it's looking relatively close. I guess the other thing here is Matreiuss is aware that if he tries to kill off this gold mine, Cool and Burst is going to be available. As the wall's going to be getting taken down over here. I wouldn't mind seeing those stone walls coming through. They're very, very strong. It's worthwhile grabbing that technology, though it is relatively expensive at 400 resources there, but he's got all the resources in the world. How many barracks and buildings do we have? 4 and 3. I say this a little bit, but let's just go over. If you've got about 70 villages, you should probably have about 7 to 8 military buildings down. If you're at full population, you should just continue to put more and more buildings down because you're going to need to repopulate that back up. But we do see the swine array coming through as well to help out those herdmen. I don't see really many herdmen out at the moment, but he will be grabbing those as Pegasus poking his head through, taking down these buildings. How are the armory upgrades looking for the moment? Not really there in all honesty. We do have bronze weapons coming through as well as bowsaw as the army going to be swinging around the back here for Matreiuss, trying to get a little bit of catch-outs here, just getting the tiniest bits of pressure and delaying onto this position. Obviously, right now, what Matreiuss sees here is he goes, if I can get Nidhogg, this army's dead. Now, he might be able to kill the Nidhogg off with those throwing axemen. I don't think so, but there's no great answer to the Nidhogg at the moment for Pegasus. So if Hell comes through, good little usage of that Nidhogg to burn those throwing axemen, it's going to be lights out for those, and then the army's going to be able to swing in and just kill everything else off. I mean, beyond that, because he's got such an economic advantage here, he can just get fully upgraded units, full iron, and he's going to hit it way faster than Pegasus is going to be able to. Now, the question beyond this all is, what if Pegasus goes to the next stage? He's got the hill fort up already. He just doesn't have the resources to go there. But what if he goes? Should he go through Vidar, the new god, or should he go through Hell himself? Those are the big questions. As you do see the units just colliding in here, going to all get taken out there. Beautiful little bits of damage coming in onto that one. There's some farms coming up onto that side. Over here, we've got the Great Halls coming down. Longhouse coming down as well. And some raiding cavalry just going to sneak in up onto this side. Get a little bit of harassment over here with that hill fort up. They're not going to be able to do all too much. But Matreiuss now going next stage, getting himself fortified town center. This is the biggest boom I think I've ever seen. This is like in a Norse mirror. This is the weirdest Norse mirror I think I've ever seen. Like literally just no fighting. just map control from Matreiuss, controlling Pegasus, letting Pegasus grab this town center. Pegasus is just like, okay, I'm going to just sit in my base. And now we're going to see that next stage, and we do indeed see Vidar. So where the Nidhogg is going to have no counter, excuse me, the Inferno is going to be a big boom, and he might be able to kill off a whole bunch of Matreiuss' units as well to push out. Now, Matreiuss here hasn't grabbed this town center just yet. I'd love to see him grabbing that one. He's got 225 pop. Wouldn't mind seeing there's that market in the corner to start a potential trade route here as well. If you push above 225 population when you get that fortified town centers in, you probably want to start a trade route just because you're not going to be able to afford all of the stuff, all the military, all the resources it costs to get that military out. Nonetheless, hell hits. Matreiuss, he's still not needing to attack. He still says, what are you doing? I'm happy to just keep waiting here. Honestly, Matreiuss is playing this game in a fundamental style. Shout out to the Fundamental series. If you want to get better at Age of Mythology, that's the series to watch. But look at that there from Pegasus, deleting his own units. He knows this is going to be one fight and done here. Trying to get himself out some Goaty to deal with that Nidhogg in this game. Meanwhile, over onto this position, we do see the Raiding Cavalry charging in to take out the Bagreezy on that one, as the Herman going to be pushing in onto this side. Units on the back here going to be looking to push forward as well, as those Bagreezy retreating back into the main base. Units now pushing forward over here as well. The Ballista going to be going at the town center onto that location. The Throw and Axeman going to be coming in onto this one as well. Nidhogg needs to be getting in onto this position. I'd love to see him use it on the back and then just swoop in through here. Fire Giant going to be coming in as well. We do see one Nidhogg over onto the right side of the map here. Bit of an interesting placement on it. Not going to be using it just yet, as the army still slowly pushing forward. Look at the difference in score at the moment, but Vidar is now in. The Fafnir is through. Will there be a big explosion coming anytime soon? We'll have to wait and see. Bagreezy on this side getting some good tauntage coming through to allow those Throw and Axemen to get in. Matreiuss not really with the best army over there in terms of these ones, because he's been baited into building the Herman. There's no Raiding Cavalry really left here, but there are two Fire Giants. That's going to be doing a lot of damage over on this side. We do see the Nidhogg flying through here, getting some damage onto that position as the big fat Gullen Bursty charging in right now, as we see everything coming down at the moment. Big, huge boom taking out that hill fort over there. The Bagreezy going to take out the Fire Giant, and our Loki player Matreiuss is down to 160 population, as Pegasus is attempting to break out here, and he does seem to be doing so in a big way. Meanwhile, it also looks like the Nidhogg has fallen to boot, but now we're seeing Raiding Cavalry. Now we're seeing Throw and Axeman. The next unit composition which Matreiuss makes will be able to counter what Pegasus has out on the field. If we take a quick look at the units as well, six of those Great Halls to pump out Raiding Cavalry is going to be absolutely huge. And he's going to be able to get a huge amount of damage coming through, but those Goaty's able to snipe down the Fire Giant very, very quickly on the back, still pumping out more dudes at the moment. But it looks to me like after the dust settles here, Pegasus is down to only 100 population. Raiding Cavalry pushing forward to take out those Pegasus rush units on that position. The Fafnir still alive, keeping that one alive. It's very important to keep that alive because it does give a decent amount of gold back when it dies. That's 300 gold to the killer when slain. Oh no, the Nidhogg's still alive. Nidhogg got to come back in and cause even more problems as it swoops through. And in that moment, Pegasus taps out. Matreiuss claims game number 1, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I tell you, if you want to learn how to play Loki and learn how to play a nice control game, this is how you play it. This is Matreiuss at his best. Puts the early pressure on, gets the town center in the darkness, gets the whole map walled in, plays a boomy game, gets to the big amount of buildings up. He's even got himself a handful of hill forts, so if he needs to build himself some of those ballaster out, he can. But a really solid game here, taking Pegasus out. Pegasus just can't get to his power here. He uses all those 3 god powers in tandem to try and push out of his base, but in the end there, it just does not end up working. Great game from Matreiuss. If you guys enjoyed this one, don't forget to hit the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in the next one. Game number 2. Presenting in the top of the map, the only player to say hello to Isis on Anatolia. His name is Pegasus. His opponent today, in the other side of the map, in the red color, playing his set. His name is Matreiuss. We've got a little kind of bug with the way that this is working. Because we're watching from the recorded games, I got to jump into the game settings to make the changes. Unfortunately, Matreiuss has had a real rough start of it here. Let's flip these guys around. Let's do a quick flipperoonie over here as well. Look at the absolute technology we've got going on in this stream right now. Shout out to Wolf Studios for all your assistance and support. You guys are the best. But these 2 players at the moment, they're trying to prove to each other who's the best at the moment here. Anatolia is the map. We see a dot coming up over here, dot coming up over here, and I don't believe it. Someone has done the math, and they're now telling me it's not worth it to empower up the dock anymore as Egyptian. I do trust these guys in a way. Like, Pegasus is one of the best out there, but I feel like this is something that Chrono JJ, shout out to old boys captain Chrono JJ, used to say, and I was like, no, the math doesn't work. It's actually better to do it the other way. But now the math is different. So on Legacy, fishing ships were gathering maybe 20% faster than on Retold without any upgrades. So you would want to get them out as fast as possible, so you would empower the dock up. But in doing that, your pharaoh would be, technically speaking, idle, not helping your villagers out. But now, because those fishing ships are only getting 45.45 food a second, it's starting to seem like it's not worth it. But the problem is, both of these guys did something I don't do in my build order, which is they both went on to food first, I think. Maybe Pegasus went on to... Wait, let's just count fishing ships and see. 4. Maybe Pegasus went on to wood first, actually. I'm not sure. No, I think they're roughly at the same spot. Nonetheless, we're going to have to do a deep dive on this and let you guys know, because Pharaoh in power or dock going up, those are the big questions. You have to also remember, in empowering the dock up, that villager also gets back to work earlier. And that's important too. Nonetheless, we see a dock coming up here for Matreiuss. Both these guys playing a very, very similar opening. So oftentimes when players play customs together, or not even together, but apart, both teams generally come to the same conclusions about what the best strategies are, what the best builds are. Whether or not they're 100% correct or not tends to not matter. It's more about, when you're playing customs, they sort of go a certain way. You kind of have a certain thought process in them, and if one player has one build order advantage, the other player is going to copy said build order, and then even then, like, you have 3 practice partners over here playing, and then one of those practice partners might play with this group, and one of those practice partners over here who are playing might practice with this group, and the build orders kind of seep together. But I'm surprised about this because I haven't seen this one just yet. So we're going to be seeing these guys coming up to the next stage. We see Bars coming up to Pegasus. No surprises there. Dark coming through for Matreiuss. Slight surprise there, though it makes some sense. The reason why it's a slight surprise is Plague of Serpents. It's just so good to hold if your opponent decides they want to do anything here. But when you're playing against Isis, getting out that electron bullets to boost those slingers can basically be the difference between you absolutely owning them in the mid game and you only owning them a tiny bit in the mid game. Anyways, we'll see how things are going to go. A couple of houses coming up onto this position as well for Pegasus. He's got himself all the docks. Everyone's getting their fishing ships up. It surprises me a little bit that there's not really a change in the quote-unquote meta of... well, this villager is going down. This villager is going down. First blood coming in. And there it goes. As the dock doesn't actually end up finishing up there. That's not the biggest of deals, but that's going to hurt a little bit. It does surprise me that the meta here is just exactly the same as it was on Legacy, and that both players just get their docks down and then get their fishing ships up. There are some ideas here of going for like a 4-minute advance time and then grabbing up town centers, or going for a 4:30 advance time even and grabbing town centers up, especially with ISIS, who can click prosperity. And the way you do that is you get 9 fishing ships over here, click prosperity with a whole bunch of villages on gold, and then you just grab 2 town centers, and that can be a slightly off meta, but I would say a decent way to play here as well, especially if you've got things like all these boar over here. Nonetheless, we are seeing some boats coming out here, which is again surprising considering no Anubis. I don't know what I expect to see, but we are seeing Matreiuss here. He's got the food to go to the next stage. He's clicking that prosperity and he's going next stage. So this is very vintage ISIS on Anatolia, which is get the food from the fishing ships out, plus he's probably got some villagers on food as well, gathering somewhere, and then put everyone onto gold, click prosperity, and you're good to get to that next age. We see that Nephthys coming through. In the main base here, what Matreiuss needs to be doing is he needs to get some priests out here, in all honesty. We see the armory coming down, but Ancestors Eclipse is coming for that main economy here very, very shortly, as the hammer ships come through to take out some of those war barges. Nice micro here. We've also got the war barge on the back here to try and take out the Kepnits. Nice play where that's concerned, and we have an out of sync. That's so disappointing. Well, there's nothing we can do about this. I'm going to open up Liquipedia and spoil the results here. I'm going to be putting all of these up in one go, so it is what it is, but hopefully we can get this fixed for the next rounds. I don't know what's going to happen, but qualifier 1, and we will scroll down and we will reveal game 2 was won by Pegasus. So congratulations to Pegasus for that win. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Pegasus went for a fast heroic, clicked Ancestors Eclipse onto the enemy economy of Matreiuss. He was not prepared for it. He lost about 15 villages, or he lost his town center, one of the two. Then Pegasus put a Migdol down in the center of the map, and he went on to win the game with elephants popping out with a big fat Thoth timing. Nothing that Matreiuss could do to stop it, because he was way behind for no reasons other than just not good enough. Moving on to game number 3. Alrighty, game number 3. Apologies for the lack of a serious conclusion to game number 2, but we're moving along right now as we're going to be having Matreiuss and Pegasus going in for another bout in their best of 5. This time we've got Pegasus on Ra, and we've got Matreiuss on Hades. Matreiuss is going to be opening up with a build order that I know all too well because he stole it from me. I want royalties. Every single time I see this build order, I get 5% of the game earnings. And 5% of 0 is 0, so I get 0. Fantastic. But this is a fantastic build. If you guys want to learn this Hades build, it's really solid because it gets you a nice quick advance. It allows you to get a fast second town center up very, very quickly as well. There are benefits to a whole bunch of different Hades build orders, which I could go over in a very deep and meaningful mathematical video, but you guys know my math is terrible. So all I'm going to say is the advantages of this build is you get the Vaults of Erebus with a good amount of time in, you get the town center up at a decent time as well, and you're good to go into the game. I'll also say that there's another build which gets a slightly earlier Vaults of Erebus, which gets a slightly later town center, and there's another build which gets neither of them, getting a much later Vaults of Erebus, not that much later in all honesty, but a much faster town center. So all of these are getting you more resources than the other at a certain point in the game, with the best resources in a boom war actually being the fast advance. But nonetheless, we'll see how the game is going to go here. As Pegasus, he isn't stealing my build order at all. He's going for something that I absolutely detest. As Ra in this matchup, I don't recommend this at all. I know that all the top players are doing this because they're trying to get out onto the map to get line of sight. You don't need to do this. Much better to have your Pharaoh on the granary and have your priest empowering up all of these buildings here, in my opinion, at the very least. But that's why these guys are the pros and I'm just the caster. So do what they do, not what I say, is the general thing. I'm also noticing that my thing is mixed up here. We need to go ahead with a flipperoonie. That's going to confuse everyone. There we go. Oh, actually, we should have gone for an Alt-T. Let's go flipperoonie again. Bam. We'll fix that up. So Pegasus is Ra and Matreiuss is Hades. Alrighty. So relics on the map. Over here we do have Black Lotus. She's boosting that farm. Gather rate, Staff of Dionysus with regeneration rate going up as well. And down the bottom of the map, we've got Pygmalion Statue with a plus 40% of the base HP. As we see a temple coming up here as well for Pegasus. Super late advance time here for Pegasus. What has he grabbed? He hasn't really done anything for this. It's a head scratcher. He's getting a lot of obelisks up. Meanwhile, over here we do see what looks to be Matreiuss already advancing. He's got that Athena coming through, so we're not going to be seeing any of those Cyclops coming out. I do rate this a little higher than going Cyclops in this matchup. I don't think the Cyclops are very good against Egyptian. A good Egyptian player will be able to dismantle those Cyclops in a big way. So yeah, it's not a terrible idea to go Ares here and not go for mass Cyclops. Idea being to go for Prodromus or Hoplites with that Phobos' Spear of Panic. It's really, really strong. Nonetheless, that's not what we're going to be seeing here. We're going to be so much more standard gameplay here from Matreiuss, getting his houses down. I don't see him going for a second town center just yet. I don't see him putting up a stable just yet. So a little bit on the late side for this town center, I'd say, from Matreiuss, but he's going to be getting himself Achilles out. Idea being, I would assume here, that he wants to try and deny a fast second town center from Pegasus. But Pegasus on the other side, he is going for Bast, and he has got himself 2 monuments. That's going to be a big, big help for his start to get a whole bunch of those Sphinx out. There's a decent amount of favor in the bank, but we'll see how things are going to go. If you double in power strat, then you are getting 6% more food. Incorrect. Same gold. Incorrect. Oh, sorry. That's correct. Yes. Less favor, no scouting. Depends on how much you value the 6% food. I value advancing at 4 minutes. That's what I value. If you can get 4 minutes advance time and get the scouting in, then your build order is potentially better. But also 6% food is 6% food. Plus, you don't need the scouting. Get the scouting later. But maybe not in this build that Pegasus is going for, because we are seeing a town center coming up. The heroes are out. The Sphinx, they are going to be looking for something to kill here. Villagers on this position will be under some serious pressure here. Pegasus might just go for a really early eclipse onto this position as he sees those villagers there. And we do see some damage coming in. One villager going down. No. Oh, one villager going down. Good little snipe there as the Sphinx are going to be moving through onto the next position here. The heroes very much out of position. These villagers diving in and out. Dive, dip, duck, dive, dodge, whatever it is, as they're going to be retreating away. And we do see that Cryo Sphinx is going to be coming through and Hands of the Pharaoh as well. As it's coming up on the front here for Matreiuss. Villagers over onto this side to grab those rhinoceros there to boot. As we are also going to be seeing Hands of the Pharaoh in. Is he thinking about getting a relic here or what's the dealio? Maybe he's getting a priest out to grab a relic. Not 100% sure. But Hippias are now out. Kind of looks to me like Matreiuss has skipped his hand axe and pickaxe here. Generally, if you're going for the far second town center as Hades, you can normally get away with getting that pickaxe and hand axe out before you go for the military. That being said here, Pegasus has got a strategy in mind. And that strategy is going to be a fast heroic off of one town center. This is something that I've seen time and time again. With no luck. Especially against Hades. But in this specific situation, let's see what Pegasus sees. He's got no idea. But luckily, gold mines are all forward. So we'll have to wait and see how this is all going to start to shape up, as we do see Sobek as well. So it's going to be an interesting one with the rock, the locust is going to be an important, is going to be a really, really important god power in this situation. If you can get some good villager kills with it, that's going to be huge. There's the Minotaur over here getting a couple of whacks before Pegasus needs to get out of there. Achilles says, "Get out of here, shoo! Bloody cat." Whoop. Whoop. Oh, I think if you micro that and cancel the animation, you might be able to catch up to that one. But we see the villagers moving forward, going to grab this gold mine in the center of the map there to drop the stuff down. Meanwhile, over onto this position, getting a little bit of damage done as well. As the Minotaur getting in over here, we've got that Ajax through. The Sphinx are simply just going to be retreating back, but Ajax is going to come in, get a little bit of a slappy slap. Yeah, it looks like... No, he's not able to catch up onto that one there. But what do you go for now? Do you go for these Pitsukos, or are you going for Mass Sphinx to hit the Eclipse push? Or is this going to be a semi-fast Mythic behind this? Which is all of the interesting questions to ask. As the Sphinx here now just waiting around. We do see a beautifully defended base. This is the correct way to play against Sphinx, because they don't have any, well, they do have some crush damage, but it takes them quite a while to actually kill off the walls. You can see 3 of them bashing down the wall. That wall is very, very healthy here, even after there's 3 of them with all that crush damage. So getting these walls up gives you enough time to come and react, and you're not going to lose any villagers. That's basically the idea there. Just delay. As we see a whole bunch of those camel riders coming through. And now the question for Matreiuss comes. How do you defend against what Pegasus is going to throw at you? Camel rider Sphinx? It's going to be an interesting one. I actually feel like I've faced this and I got absolutely annihilated. And this is when I got killed with the locust like twice and lost all my villagers. Nonetheless, I wouldn't mind seeing the Migdol get empowered to just produce those units out a little bit, but Pegasus is spending his resources nicely. As we see Apollo coming through here for Matreiuss. 3 villagers on the temple. Be interested to see if he's going to be pumping out Manticore here in an effort to defend himself. As we also see the Dark Waters technology queued up here in the market. For those of you not knowing that, you can actually get this one here. Get you a little bit of hit points boostage to come through.
Great.
As Pegasus now getting himself that obelisk up onto this position. We do have Staff of Dionysus here as well. It's going to be a big help. The Camel Rider is going to be coming in onto this position to break through. Coming to get some value over there to kill off some villages or something like that. There are lots and lots of walls. I'm surprised to see Matreiuss not getting himself up stone walls. It is kind of cheap. 400 resources for stone walls to get like double the... Is it double? Yeah, 100%. So you get 1,000 HP on your walls. And those camel riders would be sitting here for double that amount of time, basically, right? It's a lot of time. As we see a fortress coming up over here. Matreiuss does have sentinels, so he can drop that down on the fortress if it finishes here. We'll see if Pegasus is going to be spotting this. He does spot it going over there, as units are going to be flying straight in. Now, Matreiuss could just retreat here and then swing back over to the bottom side of the map, as we do see a cheeky little locust. What is that locust, though? In all of history, in all of time, ladies and gentlemen, that locust will be remembered as one of them. Military Academy is coming up onto this side. How far does it get? This villager stares down the face of the locust swarm and says, nah, you're not going to get there. A whole bunch of Pitsukos coming in. The longer Pegasus stays one town center here, the harder it's going to be for him to get a kill here. And at the moment, we just see a little bit of gold left. 400 gold left into this position. Matreiuss got 120 population right now. So he's caught up on population. He's in front at the moment. Camel Riders coming down to the bottom side of the map, looking to push through here as well.
Greek.
6 Pitsukos. From what I've heard, Eclipse not really affecting these Pitsukos all too well. Damage over time, beam attack, 20% of base. I guess it does something. Nonetheless, rain coming down. That's going to be a big boost here for both players, in all honesty. And Matreiuss, if he really wants to, he can drop a market, which he's not doing, but he can drop a market and sell food here as well. Another option for him, he's already got his heroes, but if he can just get to the Mythic Age, it's a bit of a stretch, but just stop, don't push out, get to the Mythic Age, and then he can get himself a Plenivolt, and he can get himself a Pegasus out. That'll really shut down this Myth Unit army. Another option is just to get a whole bunch of Myth Units out himself. As you do see an Underworld coming in, and this is vintage Matreiuss. He's going to get a lot of villager kills, and not only that, he's going to be able to push through here and get himself a fortress, or he can push down to the bottom side of the map and try and sneak that position there. But the villagers are all going to get taken down. We see the obelisk getting taken out. Another fortress going to get shot up over here, so villagers are going to be pushing forward. As the army of Matreiuss now facing down a very, very scary Egyptian army. Heroes going to be taking that fight over here. Fortress almost up. Restoration still not being used. There it goes. As the Chiron trying to get through here. We see the Achilles charging onto that one. Still no Eclipse getting dropped down as the Eclipse finally comes down. But Fortress is now up. We can see Sentinels getting dropped onto that if Matreiuss so chooses. Good micro there from Pegasus with the Pitsukos to retreat away. The Chiron on the back here getting some good damage done. Villagers are onto this gold mine right now. Another Ajax going to be coming through here. Retreats back through the underworld passage. There's still 60 seconds left on that Eclipse, but this Chiron comes in, picks off the Pitsukos, going after another one. He can dive in and out of that underworld as much as he likes to here. Achilles coming back out. We see Ajax back out as well. The units are queued up here for Matreiuss, but he is kind of short at the moment in terms of military buildings as Achilles is back through trying to take out the Pitsukos on the back here. A Chiron pops through but gets sniped down relatively quickly there. The Pitsukos still alive. Still, we don't see... Wait, where was the Sentinels used? Oh, it was used over here. Okay, so he does have the Sentinels on this position to help defend himself. Prodromus trying to find an angle here to take the fight and just hold, but those heavy Camel Riders are doing a lot of damage here. The Eclipse is almost over. Villagers are getting taken down. Can Pegasus make this push happen? You have to also remember there is some room to sell some food and gold here. If Matreiuss wants to retreat, he can just simply retreat here. As Pegasus trying to push through here. He's got the resources for a town center. I think he should have put it up ages ago. This would have been a completely different situation, but he's down 40 villagers here. Matreiuss has got 8 hoplites queued up. Where are the other barracks? Oh, he hasn't completed them yet. As the Achilles picks off another Pitsukos over here. These Pitsukos have paid for themselves in a big way. They've really made this fight go relatively well for Pegasus. But in the end here, the Achilles doing too much to clean those all up. We see some Toxotes coming through as well to take out those villagers on the back. Ajax is going to be getting pulled back as well as we see a couple more of those military academies coming in. If you want to ever cancel this, easy way is hold shift and then left click, I believe. Maybe it's a right click, I can't remember. As Matreiuss, he does not need to push out here. The thing is, he doesn't know what Pegasus has done, but he probably should. He should probably have a Pegasus out somewhere scouting around the map and checking out town centers. But Pegasus is now going for a second town center. Lots of catching up to do here. But ladies and gentlemen, here's a little unknown fact. Camel Riders don't have a bonus versus archers. Now, they do soft counter archers in that they have 35% pierce and they've got the speed to get onto the archers. But now they don't have a bonus. So you can technically go Toxotes into I don't know how to say anything. I don't care. You can take these bad boys out. Got a question in the chat. There's no way, like in AoE 4, to queue multiple units per right-click. Super useful for maxed out situations when you want to. You just use shift. Yeah, shift is the way to produce multiple units with one click. That's 5 units at a time. I use it very much so.
Etimos.
So Matreiuss is going to be retreating back. And now Matreiuss is in a pretty commanding position. The only thing that he doesn't have going for him right now is a third town center. But in getting up a fortress over here, he could potentially grab this one, which is almost worth more in a way. So the army going to be clashing into the middle here. Manticores are out to get some big damage done. Those heroes need to get in onto those Bazookas as well, as Matreiuss is going to be dropping his second restoration on this game. Manticore blowing through there as the hoplites trying to chase through. We got the Achilles going to be taking out the Bazookas on the back there to boot. The Chiron coming in can start taking out those Bazookas there. There's nothing really left here for Pegasus. Pegasus is down to 100 population as Pegasus's one town center all in just did not get him enough of an edge in this game, and he will have to tap out there after all is said and done. Matreiuss claims game number 2 here. Sorry, game number 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. He's now up to 2 points in this best of 5. If he gets one more win, he will be going through to the main event. Really, really solid defense here from Matreiuss. I mean, he's known for this solid defense. Killing him in an Egyptian mirror, very, very challenging. And he shows why here in a big way. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that follow button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, game number 5. If you're searching for game number 4, you will have to go and find it in the mess of the 4 hours and a half of my day 1 commentary. I missed the rest of this series. That's why we're casting it right now, but that game is already casted live and in stereo, actually. So we've got game number 5 here. This is the decider. Win this game and you go on to the main event. Lose this game and you go home with your tail between your legs. A very, very sad state, to be sure. In the bottom of the map, in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is Pegasus. His opponent today, in the red color, playing as Uranus. His name is Matreiuss. We have ourselves a very interesting game here. This is one I'm very, 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 very interested to see how it plays out. Recently, Uranus players have learned how to play the game. It's taken them a while. They went through their Atlantean is weak phase, which everyone goes through. Everyone has to go through a my god is weak phase. Currently, I think we've got the Greek is weak phase going on, even though it's not close to being weak. But that's what that's what I'm hearing people say, right? Nonetheless, Atlantean players have gone through that phase and they went into their wow, sky passages are busted, and they went into their wow, curse is busted phase. Of which curse was nerfed. Sky Passage is yet to be nerfed, so they're still kind of busted. But they're actually moved on to something new. Now, I don't know whether Pegasus or Matreiuss are aware of this one. But as it turns out, the real busted unit is not the Satyr. It's not Chaos or the Thing. It's not the Sky Passage. It's the Promethean. Promethean is the most busted thing currently for Uranus. And I can't wait to see Matreiuss give it a go. There are still going to be some Caladria. That could be very, very good. But when I'm playing against an Odin player here, I want to make them feel as much pain as that I possibly can. This is a fast advance time here from Mr. Pegasus. This is a well-rehearsed build order. Holy moly. Look at this. 3 dwarves. 4 gatherers. This is a 15 pop advance with a berserk popping out. Big claps for Pegasus. He skips the... I love this. This is everything that I love about build orders and more. This is everything I love about build orders and more. Skipping the ox cart, herding the animals through, getting the faster advance time, getting out onto the map, able to find some oracles here. We do see the anvil for fire is already grabbed. On the other side of the map here, looks like Matreiuss. He's going for the fast advance as well with a 330. But he could actually turn around and shank this guy for a little bit and get some advantages here. But he wants to retreat into his main base. He will have a Caladria, and he doesn't go for the Prometheus. So, I mean, I understand the thought process here from Matreiuss. This is what everyone says is broken OP. But just because everyone says it's broken OP doesn't mean it is. If you guys ever want to know what's OP, just ask me and I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I think is OP at the current moment. And we see a little cheeky healing shenanigans going on here as this citizen is just slapping away. Meanwhile, over on this position, we've got the longhouses coming up on this one.
Yow.
And Pegasus is going to have to retreat all the way back home. Now, if we take a quick look at Matreiuss' perspective, he's got himself Oracle. Oop. And Valkyrie here. The Valkyrie going to be able to snipe a cheeky little Oracle over here as our main man, Matreiuss, has not positioned these all too well. A very simple way to position your Oracles such that they never die in this matchup is to use Sky Passages. It's actually broken. If I have 3 Sky Passages out, that should be 3 Oracles out that can't be touched, while also having 2 in my main base. So I get 5 Oracles out, which can't be touched. Or 4 Oracles out that can't be touched, because I have the Sky Passage in my main base, I guess. Nonetheless, Berserk here, going to be able to get back home, it seems. He's a speedy boy. This Murmillo is... Oh, there is a... Matreiuss is not letting that one go home. He's saying... Get out of here, Mr. Berserk. In the main base here for Pegasus, he's just spamming out some dudes for the time being. It looks like he's just going for Berserks here. I mean, I'm not surprised to see this. Mass Berserks has been a strategy against Atlanteans since the dawn of time. But he's also getting himself Hamask. Hamask? Not sure. This one is also an interesting technology. I don't think it's as good as sort of going for SETI, and you get Hall of Thanes, plus you get... Mythical Breastplate, but it is a very, very big, fun, good technology to grab nonetheless. As the Valkyrie going to be searching around here for someone to take out, Citizen getting poked back home. I said, looks like there's no... Well, there is an Oracle hero over here. It looks like Pegasus here getting away with a lot of damage here as the Valkyries are not getting slowed by the Caladria, and no hero Mamillo in the main base just yet. As both players taking this opening very, very slowly. As Pegasus is hiding all the Berserks. This is an interesting idea. I mean, you obviously know that he's building something here, but you just don't know what. I think you can get 5 units into those longhouses if you want. Nonetheless, it kind of looks like Matreiuss is sniffing something out here. He's got himself his counter barracks down. He can get himself through some... Caraballister if he really wants to.
Yuji.
A little bit of path blockage going on. Oh, almost gets the path blocking with the Orc there. I don't actually think you can path block that Valkyrie. It's so slippery. As Valkyrie going to be returning back home. And I'm really interested right now in what Pegasus is actually going to be going for. He's got a lot of resources in the bank here. Part of me feels like... Does he have an armory? Part of me feels like he's going for... No? Wait. Honestly, I've got no idea. There's one idea here. If he wants to put a market down, he's got a whole bunch of gold in the bank. He could buy some food and just pump those Berserks out to all craziness and then go for a gold staff. But you already know that the Sky Passages are going to kind of be all over the map. So getting a gold staff on an Uranus play is kind of... a little bit of a crazy idea, as we do see cheeky little copper armor coming through here as well. Sky Passage coming up onto this side. Citizen going to be moving forward. Thank you for the 20 months, Keto. Appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for the support. It's now. Pegasus says it's time to get up and go. He's got a lot of berserks here. Population differential is pretty close, though. The question is, why? I guess there's more military out for Pegasus at the moment. And Matreiuss can kind of just stay in his base for a little bit longer here. Meanwhile, over onto this side, Raven going to get sniped down. Units poking their head in. They're going to get slowed up as the army going to pop out. Matreiuss does have himself that Bite of the Shark tech. He's going to be getting himself the medium infantry. Grabs himself those watchtowers as well. And now Pegasus is going to have to retreat back. Mana coming up over onto this side here. As the Berserks are going to be swinging around onto the left side looking for something to kill off. The army is in position to defend this one here. As we see a Sky Passage getting dropped down again. There is the Sky Passage in the middle of the map. There are still a handful of goats remaining in the main base, but he definitely wants to be out onto these caribou if he can possibly manage to do that. Meanwhile, over on this side, villagers are sitting here. And this is something that's surprising me a little bit from Matreiuss, is not really scouting out, not really putting any pressure onto Pegasus's villagers there. As we do see a cheeky little Scardy coming through. Pegasus on the other, Matreiuss on the other hand, not really getting anything out in this game. No second age, just a whole bunch of units, no pressure, and Pegasus is getting everything that he wants right now. Gets the heroic age in, has the berserks through. Mermillo are going to get spotted here. They have to retreat back as the army is in position. He's managed to defend this beautifully. The only thing I'd like to see even more is just, if he's got the resource in the bank, just a couple of walls down to block off that top right side of the map there. What is this Sky Passage? I guess he's defending the gold mine here as well. As the army popping through, the unit's going to be coming back in. And the army here for Pegasus looking to make an attack, but I mean, what's he going to do? If he goes for a frost on this position, Matreiuss, if he's quick enough, he might be able to dive into the Sky Passage. We do see that. Hyperion coming through. Goldmine has got a little bit left. Armory coming up. The army is coming through. We've got that heavy infantry coming in. This is a big timing right now for Pegasus. But Matreiuss, if he wants, just come over here. Sky Passage over there or something like that. As those Carabals are getting some good damage done. A little bit too slow on that frost. The villagers do manage to stay alive over here as the army going to be crashing through. Sky Passage will go down. Walls are going to come through here and Matreiuss is going to be caught out. 35 seconds remaining. It's going to take longer than 35 seconds to get that Hyperion through. He can come over onto this gold mine if he wants, but this is going to be absolutely brutal. There is a world where you can walk forward with the citizen and try and wall this, but he's too little too late on that. Yeah, this is a brutal timing from Pegasus, as he's just going to be taking the fight beforehand, gets the walls through, more berserks going to be coming in. There is a retreat path up the top, as we do see a cheeky little shockwave in advance there as the Carabalis are going to try and get as much damage as they possibly can get done. We have that Carnivora getting dropped down here. Population for our main man Matreiuss dropping incredibly quickly as the heroic age is about to come through, but too little, too late there. All of the Mermillo have been cleaned up, and then what here for Matreiuss? He's going to pull back through the Sky Passage, try and get his citizens back in at home. Raven going to be spotting the villagers over on this side as we see a Sky Passage coming up, but all of the map is going to be secured for the time being. Berserks coming through. Villagers will be safe in the main base. Is there a market here? I do not see a market for Matreiuss up at the moment, but he will have to start trading if he wants to keep going in this game. He stopped Citizen production as well, pumping out Murmillo as fast as he can, but he still doesn't even have himself that heavy infantry as we've got those Berserks getting queued up incredibly quickly. 5 Longhouses through as we've got the Chaos getting dropped down, but too little, too late for Matreiuss as Pegasus finds the dub here in this game. Odin, too strong. An incredibly strong showing here from Pegasus. He kind of catches Matreiuss off guard here in a way. And I think Matreiuss here, if it put the pressure on while Pegasus was going to the second or the third age, this would have been a completely different situation for Matreiuss to be in. But because Pegasus gets that kind of sneaky heroic age off, that's him being able to find an incredibly good attack onto this spot. Walls come up, and that's lights out for Matreiuss in this one. You can see the dwarves over here, villagers over on this food back here as they've moved up onto this position, but just push in, get some pressure on, take a fight while you're equal on upgrades, medium versus medium with the Bite of the Shark tech, not having to fight against those heavy dudes. You might even not want to go heroic age here, just pump units out and then put the pressure on continuously. But yeah, I'll go out on a limb and say I think that going Prometheus here is the safer option in a big way for Atlantean in this matchup. Nonetheless, if you guys enjoyed this one, please consider the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.